keep the chains moving, or can West get the ball back?
Trojans looking for a stop of some kind, Moy. Speed option to the right, all kinds of running room,
goodness.
and this is trouble. Woodard, Mike can get him from across the field. Woodard trying to track him down, and he got there and brought him down at around the 13-yard line, about a 75-yard run from Caden Wilson. And, Jay, I got to say, and it may amount to absolutely nothing on this drive, but the individual effort by Tyreek Woodard to chase him down the field 80 yards with West down 41-7 is admirable.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you're a coach, those are the kinds of things that help you get through the difficult times, right? Play doesn't go the way you want, but you sure like the effort. Go ahead, Mike.
I can tell you one of the guys I played high school football with, the college recruiter actually told him that a play just like that is what earned him a scholarship, because they saw the intensity, they saw that he didn't give up, and he ran all the way across the field like 65 yards and made the tackle.
Man, how about that? How about that? So, Big Mike, I'm going to double down on this point. I remember vividly. Now, you guys have to keep in mind, none of this stuff at West Brunswick was out here. No auxiliary gym. Right about where the auxiliary gym is, there was an old coach's office. And my dad, when he was the head coach, they had just beat South Brunswick. I think it literally was 60-0. And right before halftime, it was like 42-0. South popped a long run, and Jamon Fullwood did kind of exactly what Tyreek Woodard just did. And the whole film session, Dad focused on that kind of effort with a 42-0 lead and was just effusive in his praise for Jamon. And that always stuck with me. Yeah. I've never forgotten that my entire life. You did all these good things, won 60-0 over your county rival, and all Dad was focused on was that individual effort when you had every excuse to dial it back a couple notches, right?
Well, and look, Yogi has forgotten more about this than any of us will ever learn, right? But he was on to something then, and I think it continues to be now. You can't coach heart. You can't.
You cannot.
I mean, there's other things you can teach and you can, refine, but heart, you either have it or you do not. And if a kid runs down a ball carrier the way Woodard just did, or the way the guy you described when Yogi was here, that's hard, man. That's effort. I'm going to try.
Caden Wilson on the direct snap. West trying to track him down from behind. They get to him and eventually bring him down at around the 7-yard line. That's going to set up a 4th down and about 3 yards for Topsail. And it looks like the Pirates are going to bring on Caden Robles and attempt a field goal. Jay, ball's at the 7, so it'll be a 24-yard field goal attempt for the Pirates.
Well, and he's shown pretty good strength and accuracy here this evening with points after.
Hold is good. Kick is up. And the kick is good. So Robles knocks in his field goal attempt with 1:49 left in the third quarter. Topsail takes a 44-7 lead on our FOCUS Broadband Game of the Week. I'm going to see if I can get a heads up from production manager Nathan Evers about next week's schedule. I just looked at it right before the game. So, Jay, a county rivalry game on deck for FOCUS Broadband. We've got the Scorpions of North Brunswick taking on the Cougars of South Brunswick. That'll be fun.
That should be a fun one. South Brunswick can move the ball, and we've seen them play a couple of times this year. Fun to watch and play some exciting games. And of course, I haven't heard any further scores regarding North here tonight, but trail 52-0 final. That's a mercy rule game.
And folks, remember, North Brunswick beat Hoggard last year 6-0.
Yep.
Hoggard did not score a point against North Brunswick last year.
And coming into tonight's game, North Brunswick was ranked number 18 in the state. That's all high schools.
Oh, Woodard going all the way back across the field, and he's going to waste a lot of energy here and then slung down to the turf.
Wow, that's a suplex if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, pretty hard over there. And to add insult to injury, West is going to have to back up about half the distance to the goal.
Jeez.
Uh-oh. Somebody's going to get him back over to the home sideline.
Yeah, he did not appreciate the way he was literally thrown to the ground.
Man, he's had a rough few minutes, hasn't he, Jay Bird?
Uh-huh.
Ran probably about what amounted to 115 yards on the 75-yard run by Caden Wilson all the way across the field to make, you know, Jay, it did end up saving them 4 points. Not that it matters in a 44-7 game, but West ends up holding them to a field goal. Could have easily been a touchdown by Caden Wilson and the Topsail Pirates.
Boy, I don't know who was the provider of that tackle, but it was a tough one.
New Hanover leading South Brunswick 42-14 in the third quarter of that one. West going to keep the football on the ground. I believe that was Deshaun Fullwood on the carry that time, Jay Bird. It was indeed.
So, guys, I'm going to use this time to continue our conversation about heart and intensity in times where you might not expect it out of players. I want to give a big shout-out to big number 65 for West. I have no idea about what age he is or anything like that, but you can't coach heart and you can't coach size. And this guy's got a good frame, and he's got a good intensity. All this entire second half, they've been down, and he's finishing his blocks, and he's been doing it all game. Probably has a couple pancakes. He did get the penalty down here for finishing the block a little too aggressively, but excited to see what this kid can do.
Well, you can go to William and Mary next year and see what that kid can do. That kid being Lyndon Clemens, and he is big, Mike. He is listed at 6'7", 255, and he signed with William and Mary, so that's a great get for the Indians and should be a wonderful place for Lyndon to continue his career.
Yep, Jay, that was, I guess, he committed there about a month ago, 3 to 4 weeks ago. So Lyndon Clemens will continue his football career and further his studies at as my dad always called it, Bill and Mary.
Bill and Mary. Tell you what, a degree from Bill and Mary is a nice degree.
There's a run around the right side. Hayden Bias takes a big hit over there, and then we got bodies flying around everywhere. Trace DeGaulle. Nope, that wasn't Trace DeGaulle. It was 52, Brian Covington, the lineman, who was finishing that play over there. But a good run by Bias, and looks like it will result in a first down for the Trojans.
Now, Austin Hobson for South in on the stop that time as well, Sam, and that kid, I think he leads the team in total tackles, 8.5 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks, recovered a couple of fumbles this year. That's all in just 3 games.
Hayden Bias again. This time he was brought down immediately by number 16, Evan Batts. So Evan Batts with a tackle for loss for the Topsail Pirates as we are almost under the 50-second mark of the third quarter.
Evan, a junior inside linebacker for Topsail.
And Jay, a long line of really good athletes with the last name Batts at Topsail High School.
Okay.
Yes, they had a couple Batts who were good high school athletes, ended up playing baseball at East Carolina. I can't help but wonder if it would make perfect sense if he was pinned to them somehow.
Too?
Yes.
Yeah.
So timeout on the field, 40.2 seconds left in the third quarter. Topsail 44, West Brunswick 7. And Jay, after that touchdown drive by West Brunswick midway through the first quarter to make it 14-7, it's not a whole lot has went right for the Trojans.
Well, yeah, if you're a Trojan fan, this was not your night, at least through the first 3 quarters. And not surprising that Topsail is winning, maybe a little bit winning as convincingly as they are this evening, but probably the favorite coming into this game. 2-1, and wins over Dixon and Swansboro. So first game of the year in the conference.
Man, look at Hayden Bias run with that football.
Hey, how about Hayden Bias, huh?
You know what, Jay? I remember during Hayden Bias's middle school career, he played at the same time as Asher Herring, so I saw them play quite a bit. He was a heck of a running back on that middle school team a few years back.
Well, he may have to switch positions this year, right? So West looking for someone, anybody that can help him out offensively, and Bias has showed well on a few runs here tonight.
So West Brunswick looks like they're going to hurry to the line and try to get one more snap off before the third quarter ends. It's going to be a handoff to Deshaun Fullwood. He makes a man miss, lowers his shoulder. Look at that run.
There you go.
Deshaun Fullwood with a grown man run out to midfield, 17 yards and a West Brunswick first down to end the third quarter on your FOCUS Broadband TV Game of the Week. It's Topsail 44, West Brunswick 7. We'll be right back for the start of the fourth and final quarter. And we're back for the start of the fourth quarter. Jay, the one thing about getting that last run to midfield, the kids barely had to switch sides. You know, usually when the quarter changes, you've got to, switch ends of the field, but sure helps when the ball's at midfield. Not far to go. Hayden Bias with a nice run. Dragged down at the 41-yard line, a gain of 9 yards. 1 yard shy of the line to gain, so that will set up a 2nd and 1, just shy of the Topsail 40-yard line. Sam,
a little last few plays with Bias and Fullwood, a little reminiscent of the way it used to be here at West Brunswick. You know, that just a ferocious running game between the tackles.
Yep, there hadn't been anything real complicated on this possession. Look at Bias go down the sideline, still on his feet. Hayden Bias from 41 yards out. It is a touchdown for the senior running back, and the Trojans have pulled within 31 at 44-13. The second play of the fourth quarter. Hayden Bias takes it in from 41 yards out. Jay, I just kept waiting for someone to push him out of bounds. It just never happened. He just a great run.
Really fine run, and Bias, 5'10", $185, put together pretty well and showed some speed too. So something could come out of this game yet.
Boy, that was a good hold. That was a really nice hold by Tristan Williams to get that ball down on the tee, and JoJo Hamrick knocked it through the uprights. So 11-19 left in the game. The Topsail lead down to 30 points. Here it is, Jay. Hayden Bias just around the right side, and then it's just a foot race.
Yeah, somebody, and I don't know the number of the Trojan, but somebody had a really good block about 10 yards from the line of scrimmage and allowed Hayden to just kind of sneak between the block and down the line, and then he used his speed to go all the way. Nice effort by Bias and a good effort by the Trojan offense. There's the cheerleaders, Sam. We got a bunch of them down there.
Got the Bucks down there. Got a couple of Pirates down there. No, it's there is a Pirate down there in the front right. So well represented, the two youth football teams from Shallotte, Pirates and Bucks, well represented here tonight. And Of course, we can't forget about the Lockwood Folly Chiefs. Those teams play on Saturday mornings at Town Creek Park. The JVs play at 9 o'clock, Field 1 and Field 2, and then 2 varsity games follow at 11 a.m. So if you're looking for something to fill some time on Saturday morning, go check out the kids competing in the Brunswick Football League out at Town Creek Park in Winnebago.
Wow, JoJo got that one.
Yep, so Caden Wilson is still in there to return kicks. Oh,
maybe a little high.
Yeah. Jay, I think that flag came flying in, though, before.
It did?
Before the contact. Maybe I'm just totally wrong. I thought the flag was flying in a couple seconds before the high hit there.
We'll find out here pretty quick. Sam, eagle eye, you're right.
Illegal block below the waist.
So they did not call the horse collar, which is good for West, and perhaps because it was not. So officials are much, much closer to it than we are.
Yeah, that was a good old-fashioned bulldog.
Makes up a little for that suplex last quarter.
So 11-11 left in the game, and I'm not surprised at all to see my daughter down there fast asleep early in the fourth quarter in the home bleachers here. So that's Caden Wilson now in at quarterback. Yeah. West Brunswick brings him down. He maybe picked up a half yard, maybe.
Sam, your eyes are so much better than mine, like everything else about you. You see 7 across the field? Because there was somebody that went out in the third quarter, and I was thinking it was Hebron, and maybe it was just time for him to come out. It's my favorite football player here right beside me, Huck Hickman.
We got company in the booth, folks. Things are getting crazy. 10.5 minutes left to go in the game. A handoff to the back and a good tackle. Who's 32, Jay Bird? Javante Daniels, the junior defensive lineman. He's made some big hits, some nice tackles on that Trojan defense. And, Jay, I know this is a cliche, and Big Mike, I'll ask you this. There have been some bright spots, particularly on defense for West Brunswick. It just, hasn't all come together yet in a game, but there have been several bright spots.
I would agree. The defense, again, particularly in the first half, had what I thought was a good first half. They essentially, truly, when Topsail had, long drives, they gave up 2 touchdowns, but they held them to 2 turnovers on downs. And they're young, right? So you got to utilize this time to get reps. I don't want to call it practice because it is a game, but you get those reps, get game reps, get game experience, so that you can grow into it and hopefully be a better team next year. Or a better team later this year.
Not Jay Combs, but Jayfrin Ortegoza on that tackle for the Trojans. So, Jay, you asked about Hebron. Guess what? He's in to handle the punting duties.
Okay, he's all right. That's great.
For the Pirates.
That's good for Topsail and for the Mid-East Conference. Ooh, they got close.
Hebron gets the kick away. Collis Miller runs away from it. Wisely runs away from it, and it is down at the 47-yard line where the Trojans will take over near midfield with 8:52 left to go in the ball game.
Yeah, Timmy made the right decision there, right? We were talking about him making the right decision earlier, and he must be a good decision maker.
He's certainly been tonight.
Yeah, he has.
So, Jay, apparently, after we go to sleep tonight and wake up tomorrow, it's rivalry week because not only do we have North and South next week, tomorrow the Shallotte Bucks take on the Shallotte Pirates.
Whoa.
So it is rivalry week in
the
Brunswick Football League. What a tackle there by number 52, Hobson.
He is a beast.
He is a beast.
He leads Topsail in pretty much all defensive statistical categories. And I don't know how big he is, but I can tell you he's big enough, and he's pretty darn quick, too.
And kind of a microcosm of the Trojans' night. Bias's last 2 runs. One was 45-yard touchdown. Like I said, some bright spots. And the next one, he loses 5 yards and gets slammed to the turf. This time, he picks up 4 yards, almost back to the original line of scrimmage.
So Hayden is a senior, just like Asher, I guess. You were talking about they played together. And is getting a fair amount of time here tonight offensively. He plays linebacker and does a nice job there.
Bias around the right side looking for any running room. He met Wilson there, and Jay actually carried Hayden Wilson for a couple yards. So he got across midfield to the 49-yard line.
Tell you what, put his head down, doesn't he? He puts his head down. He's not afraid.
The referee has asked him to wind the clock. There it goes. It is winding now. So Jay West's going to leave the offense on the field on this 4th down play.
Well, why not? And better get all 11 players in. No, we got 12 now. We got 11, and now we got a timeout.
And the Trojans are going to want a timeout on this 4th down play.
Everybody wants to play, Sam.
Jay, if I'm not mistaken, I think that was probably a member of the
Special
Trojan
teams.
punt team who ran out there, not realizing the offense was still on the field.
Yep. Good assumption. Well, Sam, we got a stoppage in play here. I'll give you a little Mike Nemus report.
Please.
Okay.
The Ithaca Bombers.
The Ithaca Bombers, yeah, he's playing JV up there. They had their first JV game of the year, and he got some good reps in, according to his mom and dad. Saw a couple pictures. Here he tackled the quarterback one time, but my son-in-law, Mike's dad, said, "Coach, them Army boys are big."
And, Jay, he's playing corner. Is that right?
He's a cornerback, yeah. He in practice one day, he tackled a guy. He told his mom, he said, "Mom, that was a man."
Yeah, Jay, it's a little different. It's a little different animal at that
Hobson
level,
again,
isn't it?
Sam. Yeah.
Man, he's just out there making all kinds of plays. So the Trojans turn it over on downs after the loss of yardage. The West Brunswick defense will come back on the field. Topsail has a 1st and 10 at the 43-yard line of West Brunswick. 7:12 left in the game. Topsail 44, West Brunswick 14.
Well, let's see what the Pirates elect to do here. I bet you Coach Tichy, he'd like to score, but that's he's got more than enough points to win the game. I think he's more interested in getting that last 7-12 off the clock and nobody getting hurt.
It's looking like 2s on 2s now.
Wilson is good. He is
Yep.
good. It's going to come back, I think, Sam.
Yep,
But
it
darn,
is
that kid's
indeed.
good.
I mean, Jay, when essentially your backup quarterback is Hayden Wilson, you probably got a shot to be pretty good.
Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see as the conference schedule started here this evening how Topsail lines up against those city schools, right? Against Hoggard, of course, against Laney, New Hanover, and then of course they'll meet up with North Brunswick, who has a good team this year too.
Jay, we're going to learn a lot about Topsail a week from tonight when they take on New Hanover, don't you think?
Yeah, you know, the Wildcats had lost a couple of games in a row coming into tonight's game against South, but it sounds like they're handling the Cougars pretty well.
Jay, last we heard, which was about 3 seconds ago in our ear, it's New Hanover 45, South Brunswick 20. So New Hanover, man, they just Personnel changes there all the time, a lot like at Hogger, and the results don't seem to.
No. No, you know, those the bigger teams up there in the city, it almost seems like they reload, not rebuild, right? So, and that's a credit to the programs that each of those schools have developed, and their coaching and the feeder programs too. So, you know, no big surprise.
So Jay, after the penalty, backs up Topsail, and a touchdown run nullified. It's first and about 17. And the West defense trying to track down the, horse collar or a face mask, one way or another. One way or another, they're going to get the Trojans on this penalty. And boy, this pace has ground to a halt here suddenly.
Yeah, that was Landon Cook, I believe, the running back, who's actually ran the ball very well. I don't know if we've even called his name out here this evening, but coming into the game, he's averaging almost 8 yards a carry, 79 yards rushing on the year.
So, Jay, we're going to stay first down. So now we've got like a 1st and 7 from the 40-yard line of the Trojans. Wilson hands it off, got some running room. Tyreek Woodard got in there and made a nice tackle.
That was Landon
Sorry,
Cook.
that wasn't Woodard. Who was that single-digit linebacker right there for West Brunswick? Maybe number 8? No, not 8.
I don't think they let Jude play.
Mendoza,
well,
number 9. It's Oscar Mendoza
Oscar,
who stuck his nose in there and made that tackle.
Yeah, Suriago wears 8. I bet you he could play some linebacker if he had to.
So 1st and 10, Topsail. Ball is at the 32-yard line of the Trojans. Topsail and milking a little bit of play clock. They hand it off up the middle, and a good job by the Trojan defensive line there. Stopped the ball carrier. That's 23, Landon Cook, the running back there for Topsail, who was stopped after a short gain of 2 yards.
You know, I would guess in the depth chart, Cook maybe third team running back, but showing a lot of ability here on this drive. And as I said, it was averaging about 8 yards a rush coming into the game this evening.
So 2nd and 8. Speed option out to the left side. There's Cook across the line to gain for a 1st down. Finally wrestled out of bounds inside the 20-yard line at about the 17, where it'll be a 1st and 10 for the Pirates.
You know, Wilson, another good read that time before he pitched the ball to Cook. But what a luxury to have, as you said earlier, Sam, a backup quarterback with the ability of Caden Wilson. I mean, Topsail in good shape offensively.
No doubt about it. A lot of kids on that side of the ball, Jay, who can make plays. So you've got Hebron, you've got your backup tailback, Landon Cook, who scores from about 17 yards out with 4:52 left to make it 50-14 Topsail. Just under 5 minutes left in the ball game.
Well, Topsail came into the game tonight averaging 35 points a contest. Obviously that average is going to go up. Hanging 50 on the board right now with a chance to, with Roblay's kick, to make it 51.
Second blocked extra point of the night for the Trojans, and that was a low snap that kind of slowed down the operation. And Jay, here's the touchdown run. Just a perfectly executed speed option.
And not a black shirt touched him.
So 4:52 left in the game. Topsail 50, West Brunswick 14. And, Jay, it is a long road ahead for West Brunswick head coach Shane Handy and his staff, but one that I think they were ready for and prepared for when he and the assistants he hired accepted this gig.
Yeah, I don't think it's a huge surprise for Coach Handy. And look, he's done this before, so. Everything I hear about Coach is that he's the right guy at the right time for West Brunswick. So, time will tell. And as we mentioned earlier, they're probably going to have more nights like this than not this season. But it's all part of the investment and the development of the program under Coach Handy's regime.
That one's heading out of bounds, I'm afraid, for the Topsail Pirates. So the ball will come out to the 35-yard line unless the Trojans elect to have Topsail re-kick it.
Thought we lost Huck, but he just
he's still hanging in there.
He's just sitting down.
He's awake, which is one step above his sister down there, who's curled up on her toot's lap and fast asleep, has been since the later stages of the latter stages of the third quarter.
Her work was done.
Done.
That's right.
Done. Yep. I see there's a lot of youth cheerleaders still down there with the West Brunswick squad. Winnie is not one of them.
Yeah, well, her work is done.
So, Jay, 50-14. And one more note on Coach Handy, if I may. He won at Randleman. He won at Clayton. I don't think either of those were by accident. This is a coach who knows what he's doing. Drag her out to Hayden Brown. He's just going to lower his shoulder and try to run through a couple defenders, and he picks up 15 yards and a West Brunswick first down.
Well,
Jay,
nice.
I think there's some ways to get him involved in the passing game.
Sam,
he is huge.
Sam, I was just getting ready to say, nice to see a ball go to Hayden Brown tonight, right? And he then can show you what he can do if you can get the ball to him. Got to make Borton feel good, too, to get some positive yards through the air. Just a ninth grader. Holy Manoli.
Playing varsity football. Oh, there's a nice catch by Timothy Collis Miller. Man, he just plucked that one out of the air, Jay. Really good hands.
I think there were about 3 kids that could have caught the ball for West that time. I think Tim did a great job. Did a great job catching it.
Picked up 7 yards on that game.
Well, Sam, those young cheerleaders down there are doing their thing. I can hear them way up here.
Jay, about an hour and a half ago, it was packed inside this stadium. Not so much anymore. And folks, if you're watching from home, I think we've officially reached high school football weather area. It is a bit cool up here. 67, I hear. What do you think, partner? You like it?
Yeah, I do. Man, we've had so many hot nights, days, seems like forever. In fact, my wife and I were talking earlier this week, and I said I'm usually the last one that wants to, summertime to be over, but I think I'm kind of ready for it this year.
Jay, I cannot remember what year it was, but there's a go route. Oh, very nearly picked off by number 21, Tyler Boylan. Pass intended for Tyreek Woodard. Just a bit underthrown, but, Jay, there's kind of a glimpse of the arm talent. He can spin it. Make no mistake.
And he's not driving. He probably has pimples. He's only in the ninth
14
grade.
or 15
yeah,
years old.
So big upside with Josiah. And, again, has the makings of having a nice career here at West Brunswick.
Another good catch by Timothy Collis Miller. He's inside the 35 to the 32-yard line, a gain of 5 yards. That will set up a 2nd and 5 for West Brunswick with 4:03 showing on the game clock.
There's a few changes out there on the defensive side of the ball for the Pirates. And just to give you, for instance, I don't see 52. That's Hobson. So that's advantage West.
Yep, or Wolfenbarger.
Mm-hmm.
Tall sweep around the right side. The timing of it was a little funky, but he got enough for the first down, but I think it's going to come all the way back, Jay Bird.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the last couple series, guys, I think we're going with the JV squads on both sides just to kind of, give the starters a rest, don't risk injury, get these kids some game reps, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, you can't do it in practice, right, Mike? I mean, you get reps, but it's not the same as in a game.
100%.
And, Mike, I was going to ask, when they say, you can't replicate game reps, you totally buy that 100%.
Yeah, I mean, there's something about, like, just the situation versus in practice. Like, you're going to go ones-on-ones if you got a defense and an offense. But, yeah, it's not the same. And I don't even know how to put words to that feeling, but it's just definitely not the same.
Yeah, so, Mike, I heard a lot of talk after college football week 1 about game shape, and you can do preseason conditioning and off-season conditioning and all that stuff, but adrenaline kicks in during games, and apparently that makes quite a difference.
For sure, and there's a physiological principle called specificity, and so it's training to do exactly what you need to do. But so until you start getting these game reps in a game with that adrenaline pumping, with all that sort of stuff at the game kind of pace, because you can simulate it, but you can't really simulate it over the course of an entire game in practice. That's where that game shape comes in.
Well said. Well said, partner. Jay, there was a lot going on that play there.
Trying to see who fell on the ball. Was it number 70?
That's exactly who it was.
Sean Brown?
Yep.
Hey, let's give Sean a shout-out then, right? Big play by an offensive lineman.
So, Jay, we had Borton kind of scrambling around and did a good job eluding a whole lot of pressure. Then he lost the football. An offensive lineman, Sean Brown, fell on it. But the penalty, there was also a penalty, a block in the back against West Brunswick. That was declined. So Topsail takes the result of the play, which was a loss of about 15 yards after the fumble and West falling on it. And the Trojans will bring on the punt team, and Topsail's not even going to send anybody back deep to recover this one.
It's a 4th and forever for West. So, yeah, JoJo going to hopefully get a chance to kick. There you go.
He gets it away. It takes a very, very good Trojan bounce, and it is still going. It is still going. It's still going. Just inside the 7-yard line, a 43-yard punt down inside the 10. And Hamrick did a good job fielding that low one and getting it off Jay Bird. So 2:50 left in the game. Topsail up by 36. The Pirates are going to improve to 3-1.
Joe Hamrick, probably the player of the game for West Brunswick here this evening with his really tremendous job of punting the football.
Trojan band still going strong here inside the stadium. Caden Wilson's going to pitch it. And it was quite a late pitch, but an effective one as Topsail picks up 11 yards and a first down.
Yeah, Caden with 2:40 to go and a 36-point advantage, running that play like he would in the very first quarter, making the defensive end or whoever's in contain out there make a decision. And if he comes at you, you toss. If he doesn't, you keep. He came, he tossed. They pick up yards.
They're going to run the same thing to the right side.
There you go.
And this time, Oscar Mendoza, the senior linebacker, rather, he was all over it and makes a tackle for a loss of about 3 yards for the Pirates. And, Jay, we are under the 2-minute mark here inside M.H. Rourke Stadium. Topsail leading 50-14.
The Big O, all right? Oscar Mendoza, who has, you've called his name out here more than one time tonight.
He had a really nice 2-year stint on the JV team. I mean, he had a couple seasons where he was approaching the 80 tackle mark.
Wow. Well, somebody's adding to their tackle mark there.
Adding to that tackle for loss mark. Who do we got? 61, 51?
51.
Isaiah Fullwood. Thank you, Big Mike, for the assist there. Isaiah Fullwood, Jay, by my count, from the first half and then that one. That was his 4th tackle for loss tonight, Fullwood.
He had 4 TFLs on the year coming into this evening's contest, so he's done nothing but add to that total.
Jay, based on what you've seen from Topsail tonight, how do you like their chances against some of the traditional Mid-Eastern Conference powers?
Well, more than a puncher's chance, let's put it that way. When you can throw the ball around on the field the way Topsail can, and not only, it's not just one player. I mean, they've got multiple weapons who played well here this evening. And of course, they've got a really gifted quarterback in junior Eli Hebron. So, and defensively, look, they got some big guys out there. And really impressed with 52 Hobson, who's just kind of a reign of terror here this evening.
So Hebron does a good job just getting that one away. Fielded by Collis Miller. Tell you what, Jay, he's been a bright spot tonight for West. He's done a lot of good things.
Tim's a junior, so he's part of the youth movement here at West Brunswick.
I know his father Paul is a proud papa, as he should be. Timmy, a former Topsail Pirate himself.
There you go. Come up through the ranks, huh?
Yep, and a darn good one if I understand it.
Let's see if West can come up with something here.
Borton looking for running room around the right side. Oh, man, illegal blindside block, and every referee
saw it.
Saw it. And it was a big one. And it was my nephew.
Asher, what are you doing, dude?
What was that Aaron Rodgers quote from Hard Knocks? It's not 2014 anymore.
No, you're right, exactly right, Big Mike.
You can thank Heinz Ward for that. That rule change across the board, I think.
Yes, was it Heinz Ward, Keith Rivers? Do I have the right bingo that he destroyed?
I'm not sure, but he broke the guy's jaw.
Yeah, it was Keith Rivers, yep.
He decapitated quite a few guys during his career. Best blocking wide receiver in NFL history. I don't know why he's not in the Hall of Fame yet.
I tell you what, Mike, I think somewhere there's a dictionary somewhere. If you look up football player Heinz Ward, his picture is in there somewhere. As my father would say, he's one tough hombre.
And guy never wore a mouthpiece. Best smile in the league, too.
Had a nice little broadcasting career.
I think he won Dancing with the Stars as well. Don't quote me on that.
Some people get it all, You know what? Wide receivers have done really well on that show traditionally. Jerry Rice, Heinz Ward.
They got good hips, good feet.
Yep. And a lot of practice dancing after touchdowns. So 28 seconds left. Jerry, surprised West came out there with 40 seconds trying to throw it around and just get them all the reps you can get them?
I'm surprised at anything these days, Sam. It doesn't take a lot to surprise me, but yeah, sure, try to make a play, right?
So now the clock is running. Borton on the drag route finds his man. And that was 31 on the catch. Caden Coley.
And Evan Batts on the tackle. Tell you what, well, that's going to be the last play, but I think this is a game that Topsail deserved to win.
Yeah, Jay, the better team won tonight for sure, and that is the final whistle. Topsail 50, West Brunswick 14 on the FOCUS Broadband TV. Game of the week, West Brunswick falls to 0-4. Topsail improves to 3-1, and Jay, a rivalry game next week will be at North and South, and it should be a good one, partner.
Well, I'll tell you what, South Brunswick did not pick a good week to invite the Scorps into town. If they lost, what was
52-0 to Hoggard.
I suspicion North will be very much prepared to take it to South next week, but we'll see, and we'll be there to cover it.
So Topsail winners tonight on your game of the week, 50-14 over West Brunswick, and we will see you next week. North Brunswick against South Brunswick, Brunswick County rivalry week, and we look forward to all of you joining us then. Thank you and good night from Charlotte.